Hello, my computer daters. It's the time again. Or not for RimWorld. Apparently, everybody hates it, which is really funny because last time was one of the most action-packed sessions of RimWorld conceivable within the game, and yet it still bored everyone to tears. Wonder what the takeaway is from that. People just don't like watching Super Nintendo graphics. Actually, that's not even true. People love fucking fucking what's the farming game? Starbound? It's something with an S. Southwest. Stardew Valley. That's it. I was just saying this game has a lot of DNA in common with Mario 64, actually. Besides just the aesthetics, and that they both are very movement centric, just in different ways. And they both have this large, abstract platforming challenges where you look at them and you feel outclassed, and you're like, how on earth am I supposed to be able to get up there? Yet in the end, it turns out it's entirely possible to do so. Oh, there's a place up there on top of it. What is up there? Yo! Oh, but there's nothing to find. This would be the most Kino place to stash a secret. Why is there nothing here? That's so disappointing. That's like in games when you go behind the waterfall and there's nothing. It's like, why even live? Why do we do this anymore? I have 3 big keys. What are you supposed to do here? Oh, it's upside down now. Oh, not this one. Not again. Never again. Never that thing. So I got my issue of Tales of the Unreal Volume 3, which has my story in it. Oh, hello, kitten cat. Little kitty cat, come here. Little cat. Cuddle time. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Press P to pet the cat. She's got a fuzzy little kiwi noggin with a little walnut brain, which can't even compute a single polygon. Hello. Hello, baby. Oh, she's interested in what's happening on the computer. It's not real. None of it's real. Don't get trapped in the same matrix as me. Pet, pet, pet. Oh, she did the thing where she leans up against me and then looks up at me backwards. It melts my heart. She knows that. I can't even do it. She has no concept of object permanence. Actually, she probably does. Cats actually can do some pretty sophisticated trigonometry when calculating jumps. Instinctively. It's all about the right tool for the job. This is where I got stuck last time. What are you supposed to do here? I don't know if there's any way to do anything here. Is this not how you get in there? I'm gonna guess this is not how you get in there. How can this game be so chill, but also so frustrating at the same time? Without inherent contradiction. A lot of the best games of all time have that quality, like Tetris. Theater and... Yes, I think so. I only have 3. I don't have 6. Are there 6 or 5? Honestly, I just like cruising around. This is so pleasurable just to control. It's perilously easy just to get lost, and hypnotized, just zooming around. Like in Warframe. Going nowhere fast. As are we all. The 5 legendary keys of yore. Not the new ones, the ones of yore. It's simultaneous for me. I'm simultaneously relaxed and frustrated at all times. Which is an interesting and difficult balance to strike. Little cat. You're just a little hairy burrito with 4 little toothpick legs. She has such little skinny legs compared to the girth of her body. She's like a little Vienna sausage that somebody stuck 4 toothpicks into. Or like the lemon pig. You know lemon pig? Maybe there's a way to come at this from another angle. I do appreciate that this game has much more authentic N64 polygon count compared to a lot of games that try to imitate the PS1 style, but have like GameCube or Xbox tier polygon counts and detail. A lot of games are guilty of that, of remembering what PS1 graphics look like through rose-tinted glasses. There's this PS1 open world. You heard me right. Open world survival horror game, which has a huge single overworld that you can drive around in a car without loading. I can't show it to you on stream because this cover art is just a bunch of nude human bodies with pubic hair fused together. It's GERM, germ. The Cursed Town or something like that. Let me look it up. But it has a really interesting style just because it's stretching it's stretching the on-screen polygons for PS1 so far that everything has to be as low poly as it possibly can be. Germs Nera Warete Maki. The targeted town. It has a really interesting aesthetic that we had not seen when it came out in 1999 for many years, where textures are only used on certain surfaces. On surfaces where they wouldn't really benefit, they're just left flat shaded. But you can walk around, and it has the LSD Dream Emulator footstep noise. But you can also use public transit. You can ride the bus places, or the subway train, or you can drive your car. You can just chill out in your apartment. It's just like it's a very empty city compared to like GTA, but it's almost as well realized other than that. I want to show it to you. Hang on. I just gotta not show the cover art, so I don't get demonetized. I don't know how that sold in Japan with the cover art that it has. It's just a bunch of boobs and wieners and hair.
Hello.
It's not a well-known game either. Here we go. See, these are the outside sections. A lot of gray. Indoor sections are somewhat more detailed. But still, it's not great. It looks like a Gen 1 PS1 game, but it came out in '99. But again, that's because of the ambitious scope. Here's the car. Very aggressive object and polygon face culling to maintain a playable frame rate. This is a game console from 1994. You can. It was not released in the West. I don't believe. But I might be talking out my ass. I've only ever seen the Japanese version of this. Only in Japan, that's right. It's an extremely Japanese game culturally in terms of the design conventions. I don't think it would have gone over well here. But it's amazingly ambitious. This is a game that really, really should have waited for PS2. Even PS2 didn't have that many open world games, come to think of it. There was like one or two that I can think of. I think there's an open world Jak and Daxter. There was a driving game, a post-apocalyptic driving game with dune buggies at launch that had a semi-open world. Yeah, this would have been black magic back in the day, in terms of having a immersive city that you can drive around in. Is he stuck in gay baby jail? Is he really? Is he really stuck? Truly, this is the worst help. Nope, he backed off of the curb. It's an RPG. It's a survival horror RPG. Look at how much more developed the geometry is than it is in something like Silent Hill. Silent Hill had fully textured graphics though, and it had great use of fog to disguise the drawing. It's a really interesting game though. I would be really tempted to play it if there's a translated patch anywhere. I also saw somebody emulating it at HD resolutions, and it didn't look as bad. I'm not saying it looked good. I didn't say it looked good. I said it looked not as bad. Here it is. It's emulated in, still has to be 4:3, but it's effectively 4K resolution. Although I can't display it on this monitor. I'll never have 4K. I don't see the point of having that. This is the best it's ever looked. This looks like early VR, kind of. Or like a fucking Jaguar game. Like a Club Drive. PS1 games look so surreal when they're in high resolution like this. Although there was a great update to DuckStation recently that allows you to do which is what he's running it on, which allows you to keep the, if you want to, you can filter textures, but not filter the 2D HUD elements and sprites. You can selectively choose what to filter. Let me find some combat. Actually, if you're gonna have them, you should be close so you can get the benefit from the pixels. Where 4K actually would make a difference is projectors, because you can really see the pixels on a projector that's 1080p. I'm just not triggered by pixels, so I don't care. Because I started gaming when pixels were the size of your fucking thumb. Play a 2600 game sometime. You'll see pencil eraser sized pixels. Here's the shooting section. Looks Silent Hill-ish. Has a really charming aesthetic. It struggles so hard to do texture map 3D because of the size of everything. It almost looks like a 3DO game. If you told me this was a 3DO game, I would have believed you. You ever think about how crazy our timeline is, that 3DO was basically the PlayStation before the PlayStation, and it didn't take off, and the PlayStation did? I guess by virtue of costing $400 less dollars at launch, costing less than half as much, while having better 3D by just waiting a single year. Because 3DO was 93, if I'm correct. Jaguar and 3DO were both 93, and PS1 was 94 in Japan, I believe, and 95 in the US. This is what it's like inside my mind. This looks so tantalizing. This looks so much like a lot of the games I play on itch.io. Well, what's up, Nettis? We're looking at a PS1 open-world survival horror game from 1999. When I say open world, I mean the entire overworld. It streams from the disc, and there's no loading sequences when you're moving around. There's cars you can drive in the overworld on PS1 hardware. It's Japan only, and it has some awful graphics for the most part because it's too ambitious. What is he fighting, a robot here? What's up, Zulu? Haven't seen you in a while. Long time no see. We're looking at a very early open world game on the PS1, only for Japan. Here he is looking at the map. Here's the bus station. You can actually ride the bus network. You can also take the subway. The public transit works. Look at these graphics. Look at these graphics. That's what you get when you try to fucking stream the open world on PS1 from a CD-ROM. Here he is driving the car. You get stuck on stuff easily, apparently. Is this not fascinating to everybody else as it is to me? I can go back to Pseudoregalia. This has a lot of features we wouldn't see in any other game until like Shenmue or Grand Theft Auto 3, even though it's a much more empty world. It's fascinating to me. It shouldn't exist. It was ill-conceived from the start. Never even considered for mass production. Too weird to live, too rare to die. I kind of wish there were still devs making new PS1 games. In fact, I kind of wish every dev of PS1 horror games released actual physical discs. At the very least, the best ones that are actually programmed. There's actually are some devs doing that kind of. There's a new rally racing game designed to look like a Sega Saturn game, but actually, because they're using Saturn assets, which in turn is because they're actually making a Saturn version of the game that will run on real hardware. I've discovered a new fetish recently, and that's playing Tate mode games on my Steam Deck. What I lack is a stand to prop it up so I can use a game controller, because otherwise you're limited to using the D-pad. It's not like the Atari Lynx where it's set up for Tate mode games optionally. Or you gotta hold it weird also. Luckily for me, there's an STL file for 3D printable vertical Steam Deck stand on, I think, Thingiverse or one of those other sites. It's like a perfect little vertical gaming machine. Which I guess the Switch also is, if you can stomach the Switch. Switch also has a vertical grip, which makes it, I hate to admit, I hate to admit when stifling, controlling companies that are walled gardens have great solutions, but the Switch was a genius design in that you could flip it vertically and have an adapter that lets you still attach your little Joy-Cons. I don't want to hurt these fellas. I forget what these do. What do these black holes do? Do I need an ability? I know there's a lot of racism towards Indians as a result of their prevalence in call centers and as a result of their prevalence in phone scams, as covered by many YouTube channels. But I feel bad for them because they're kind of cute when they call you and they're like, "Hello, this is Bob Thompson," or like it's like some obviously made up name. You can't tell if somebody's Japanese because often they do adopt anglicized first names. And some Chinese immigrants did the same thing. Like Jackie Chan. Indians generally don't do that though, so when they're like, "This is Logan Pierce," it's like, "Yeah, sure you are. Sure you are, buddy. Sure you, whatever you say." Sir, I'm calling about your antivirus. It's an interesting study in the disparities between highly spiritual societies and highly, I guess, Western Renaissance materialistic paradigm societies. Because it's an unfair comparison if it's like an Abrahamic religion. Like how Dawkins originally wrote The God Delusion because of 9/11, which was always a non sequitur to me, attacking Christians because of what Muslims did. And it's also kind of always unfair, struck me as unfair to examine caliphates and say this is what a religious society gets you, as if the result wouldn't be drastically different based on which religion it is. But in India, they're very enamored with spiritualism. It forms such a core component of their lives compared to everywhere else in the world that it almost seems like they struggle to get anything else done. Like, their existence of their society is incidental and something they do begrudgingly because they still need to eat and sleep indoors and all those things when they'd really rather just be tripping balls and communing with Ganesh. It's a very attractive prospect to people who are enamored with spiritualism. Like a lot of white Western artists who travel to India to see what it's all about. And uncharitably, a whole lot of nothing. There's no spiritualism because there are no spirits. It's like trying to find a black cat in a dark room without a flashlight and declaring that you found him anyway. Where am I? How'd I get... Oh, here we are. I'm tougher now than I was. I'd almost compare it to the intellectual life of Greek philosophers, where they just didn't have a lot of time or energy in their lives for non-mental existence. That's what I attribute the simplicity of their diet to. Just, I'm too busy arguing with my buddy about the nature of being to prepare a dish with more than 4 ingredients. Not that I mean to speak ill of it. I love Greek food. I love all Mediterranean area food. I think some of the most delicious, simple foods come from that area, like caprese salad, which is really stretches the definition of food. It straddles the line between food and just a bunch of ingredients put into a dish together. Which, if it sounds nonsensical, it's like tomato slices and mozzarella slices alternatingly with herbs and olive oil on it. If that's food in the way cereal is food, in the way that you're adding ingredients when you put milk on cereal. It doesn't hold true for India, interestingly, which has some very sophisticated vegan food, which is, again, inspired by their religious traditions of not wanting to eat meat if they can avoid it. They're not complete vegans, but they do... They've done a better job than anyone else in history at making vegan food taste good. I've had some shockingly good vegan curries. They were Indian. In here. Oh, I haven't been here in a while. In a long time, apparently. How'd I miss that? How did I miss that? It's also why they still struggle to get indoor plumbing widespread. It seems, I guess, you'd understand it more if you'd used acid. It doesn't seem like a priority in that state. Everything seems effortless and like it comes from nature. And shitting in a field feels right. Like you're one of the beasts of the field. I can never be persuaded that much of Indians' theology didn't come from acid trips or mushrooms. This may be connected to the reverence of cows. Although cows are very gentle animals. People also uncharitably make fun of their reverence for cows, but it's easy to understand how in a tender, empathetic state you might look into the big, doleful eyes of a cow and feel a deep connection. That's just because all of the work that would go into that's the system, man. Plumbing is the system. Electricity is the system. It's not organic. It's not holistic. From a certain point of view. It sounds insane because it probably is, but when you're in that state, it seems like a good idea, like the best idea you've ever had, to take off your clothes, run out into the wilderness, and just resume life as a wild beast, as if civilization had never happened. Like to just become a hunter-gatherer again, and just escape the matrix, so that life is real, so that your experiences are authentic. And so you're connected to the natural world instead of insulated from it. Sometimes the urge is so strong as to make you want to scream. It's just so stifling to be inside of buildings and wear clothing and use mouth words to talk instead of thought forms. You ever think about how animals conceive of things? Like, they probably don't have words for stuff because they don't have language. They probably do have something like words, where they have mental shorthand for, like, they don't have a word for berry, but they know which ones to eat based on which ones make them sick and which ones don't. So they must know how to distinguish between them visually and by smell, which means that for them the correct berries are a thought form, a sensory amalgam of a certain smell and a certain color, which is just neurons connecting as the rods and cones in their eyes are stimulated in just such a way. It's kind of like a word cloud, but without words. You know word clouds? Take a word cloud and instead of words, make it sensory data from your five senses. I never got anything in the listless library because I was never able to open this door. So I think there might still be shit in here for me to find. I imagine being like a tunnel. Like their life is just a fast-moving smear of color and light and sound that they barely make sense of, just well enough to survive and reproduce. A big sensual mystery of romanticism and half-understood sights and sounds and smells and tastes. Kind of like just being fucking wasted all the time. I think a lot about how animals experience the world. It's a mystery that's always tantalized in my mind. Like, did you know that dolphin echolocation penetrates inside of objects and gives them a sort of X-ray vision? And they can distinguish between different types of metals, and then they know when a woman is pregnant. Because they can echo sound the fetus. Imagine a creature to whom that's just normal. And the idea of only seeing the surfaces of things would seem incredibly facile and hollow. Like a papier-mâche view of reality. Like polygon models versus voxels. Where a voxel model is solid all the way through. That's one of the things I'm hyped for. I really hope something like quantum computing or AI software will uncover a way to accelerate voxel rendering. Because I've felt for many years now that voxels are the future of 3D. Not because they look better, because shit looks good enough already. Am I wrong? Our problem is not that graphics aren't good enough. It's the limitations on what you can do with polygons without putting a lot of work into faking stuff. You don't have to fake much with voxels. If you wanted to cut a human being in half with a sword and have the cross-section be accurate to his bones and organs, that'd be incredibly hard to fake with polygons, unless it's just a few scripted animations, depending on which direction you're cutting. With voxels, you can cut from any angle and get an accurate cross-section. Because there's actually bones in there. There's actually organs. You could have a detailed injury simulation because you actually have a full organ system inside the human body. Water rendering, especially like fluids with voxels, becomes incredibly realistic. Even just that, can you imagine how much it would change gaming to have realistic water physics, like actual proper fluids? It wouldn't. We've been stuck in this mindset for so many years, decades, that improvement to game engines means improvement to graphics. But to me, improvement to game engines is improvement to what it's possible for a game to be. And there's a lot of mechanics you can unlock in games of the future, in genres yet to be invented, that become possible once you... Haven't I been here? Isn't this where a dilapidated dungeon... Isn't this where the game starts? Might I have missed something back here? Like, you could actually have a game like Subnautica with accurate simulation of air and water pressure, where you have to design a structure that will function under the stress of buoyancy. This is not where I want to be, is it? Postal 1 is a shit game. I guess historically important, but it's not fun to play. It shouldn't have worked as well as it did to court controversy. But they sort of based their brand on that, and they'll never back down from it. But anyway, voxels. Conceivably, with invisible voxels, you could even simulate something like air pressure in a space game. Granted, there's less computationally expensive ways to do that, but in the age where we're throwing GPU power at stuff like ray tracing, it doesn't seem like an important consideration anymore. Teardown is a good example of what's possible. Full destructibility as a default feature of every game. If you've ever looked at games like Red Faction and after that you're like, hey, where did that feature go? That's because those features aren't inherent to Polygon Engine games. They have to be manually implemented. So games don't have a standard set of features. With voxels, games would all have a standard set of features that are inherent to voxel rendering, among which would be proper fluid dynamics and full destructibility. Does that not excite anyone? That's what will unlock the genres of the future. Games we can't even imagine yet. Oh, my copy of Tales of the Unreal 3 got here. I mentioned that earlier, but not all of you were present. It's got Everybody Comes Back, one of my better stories in it. But it's also got a skid mark, like somebody wiped their fucking, like a dog dragged its ass over the page my story appears on. It looks like like a printing defect. It's ink. It's not poo poo. It's not doo doo caca. Ooh, doo doo feces. No, that's ignorant. It still is cool to have a pulp rag with my story. Two issues now with my stories in it. Because that's how I got started, reading pulp rags. If that's what you consider Analog and Asimov to be. Which were kind of my mental world from ages 6 through like 15. Because my dad curated what I was allowed to read, and thank goodness he did, because I would have wasted my time on garbage otherwise. And he gave me only the best Golden Age sci-fi and Analog and Asimov to read, which really was very educational. You learn a lot, especially from hard sci-fi, like Arthur C. Clarke. You learn a lot from reading about how the physics of spaceflight works, and what's possible, and what the limits of what's known are. Here we go. I don't want to be here. We haven't found anything new so far. I will say this map is not as well designed as some Metroidvanias I played. If there's a horizontal dash that didn't require the bubble, that'd be great. It'd also break a lot of the design, though. So much effort is wasted in development reinventing the wheel, re-implementing features that other games have had for ages. Unity helps with a lot of that. They have a lot of plugins for stuff, so you don't have to redo it. But with voxels, it's inherent to how the game is rendered. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy to have destructible vehicles or whatever. Imagine a space game and you can carve your name in the side of an enemy ship with a laser. Which I suppose you can do already with decals, but it's a decal. There's so much stuff we fake right now that you wouldn't have to fake anymore. Ray traced voxels, then that won't be budget friendly. We'll get there, though. We'll get to ray traced voxels running on sunglass-sized $20 Walmart VR glasses from China. It'll just be nothing. Crazy to think about. The holy grail of my youth will just be some throwaway novelty that's old hat in the future. Like computers were for my dad. Like, you could not have a home computer for much of my dad's life. He grew up reading about computers and Asimov And in Asimov stories, computers are always like several miles to a side, because they assumed vacuum tubes. He didn't predict the microprocessor. Yet he always had robots that were human-sized. I don't know how he reconciled that. I guess by having the supercomputers remote radio control the robots or some shit like that. We're back to that though, kind of, because LLMs take such large server farms to run. You can't really cram a good one into a humanoid robot as yet. But still, VR was such a fantasy, such a pipe dream. It was something that kind of sort of existed when I was a teenager, but in a form where you could not possibly own it at your house. Like, it was only something governments and corporations could own. You pay for minutes of use. I do mean minutes. Yet now it's here, and I have it sitting next to me, and I'm not using it. I do use it occasionally, but it's funny, the games I come back to are the ones everybody pans, because they're not long and involved and story-focused. They're just gimmicks and tech demos. The sandbox ones are the ones that are infinitely replayable. Those are the ones I actually come back to, like Blood Trail. Sometimes I just want to get some frustration out, you know? I got nothing for beating that little tiny man. Oh, you like it? How do you like the writing? You know, they didn't tell me what they're going to do when they commissioned me. They just commissioned me to write a novel. I wrote them a novel, and what they did was they quote mined it. They excerpted the turns of a phrase they liked the best, and then strung that together into dialogue. Which is a way to do it, I guess. I didn't have as much input as I thought I would, but they did a good job. I've got no complaints. Did you feel that the ending was too similar to Soma conceptually? That was something people were saying at release, because it was like 3 years after Soma. Speaking of which, we're about due for another fictional game, aren't we? After the bunker. The bunker. Ooh, I'm bunking! 20-year-old bunker. Did you like the realism? Like that was my department. It's consulting on the marine engineering. I was behind some of the suit design. I was behind the decision to have them be mining methane hydrates and clathrates, which informed the ice theme of a lot of the horror sections. The design of the habitats, unfortunately, a lot of the modeling was done already, so they wouldn't listen to me. I told them that they couldn't have flat windows. They got rid of some of the larger ones, I think. But they had like airplane-style windows, which is at the depths we're talking, it is unreasonable. And the fact that they're one of the lockout chambers, which they didn't want to redo, which they had ever since the demo, was like almost, it was like Subnautica. It's almost all acrylic. Did you hate that? Did you hate the combat? A lot of people hated the combat. I thought the combat was simple, but it was very ergonomic, and rhythm, sort of a timing based. Tell me what you thought in detail. I don't often get feedback on the only game I've worked on. It is beautiful in VR, isn't it? Photogrammetry was used, as well as an in-house program for generating organic-looking caves, which is how they got that like pitted texture on the walls. Anything down here? Nothing. Wasted opportunity. Soma should be in VR. You know what is a tragedy there? HPL3, which is Soma's engine, like HPL 1 and 2 before it, are hard coded around a single camera, a lot of the visual effects. So it can never be in VR. That's why the VR fan version of Amnesia is rebuilt on Unity using the Amnesia assets. Which is also what they'd have to do for Soma if you ever wanted a VR version of Soma. There's also a VR source port of Penumbra that works the same way. Just rebuilding everything using the original assets on Unity. That also helps with motion sickness, Zulu. It's the cockpit effect. Having a local reference frame immediately around your field of view that remains stationary really helps keep people from getting sick. That was back when they were still figuring out what they wanted to do with VR. It's like the early days of 3D. No one really knew how to make a good 3D game until Mario 64 showed them how the camera and control stick are supposed to be used. Did you find the hamster cage? With the poor, unfortunate floating hamster in it? I couldn't talk them into putting a hamster habitat hidden in the environment. I wish I had. I wish I'd pushed harder for that. But they did put in a hamster cage for me as an Easter egg. I made $2,000 off that game, which is the most I've ever seen in... Well, to that point, it was the most money I'd ever had at once. What were the parts that spooked you? I think my favorite part was actually the volcanic fields. I think that's the most atmospheric portion. Or the parts where you find the bodies of your colleagues on the seabed. Where some artistic liberty had to take precedence over science because had their view plates shattered at that depth, it would have pulped them. You wouldn't have a recognizable face left. It's all worth it if there's a good ending. I believe strongly in the necessity of an impactful ending that you should design the narrative to work towards. You know, but to what end? Did I ever do this thing? There's a time limit, isn't there? I have to get it under the time limit. But that's only for like a cosmetic thing, right? It's not for anything essential to the game. Did you unlock the full radio interview at the end? There's also a ebook where they used about half of the writing I did for them went into the ebook, and the other half was another author that collabed with me. The book he talks about at the interview that he's shilling based on his account really exists on Amazon as just a neat Easter egg. I love when games do stuff like that. It's like Babby's first ARG. You give up on that. It's very dryly written, as if it was a real event. I wrote about 50% of it. They took what they wanted from my... I wrote a completely different novel that never saw light of day. And they took what they wanted from that, and then they cobbled it together. They were looking for like beautiful prose and neat little like imagery that they could use to spice up the final product. I bothered them for a while about making a prequel, Inside the Habitat Before It Floods, about a early crew member before everybody else has moved down there who has like night terrors and premonitions about the disaster, which would play more on the sanity effects of the first game, but in more devious ways, like Sphere kind of. Underwater habitat, hallucinatory dreams. But with the same kind of vibe as like Majora's Mask, where you know Doom is coming. It all just builds up to and accentuates the eventual end that everyone knows is coming from the start of the game. Like living in the twilight of a doomed world, however small that world is a vibe. It'd be a good opportunity to flesh out the habitat and recycle assets, but they would look new because they wouldn't be fucking trashed yet, and everything would be brightly lit and colorful and full of air, and you wouldn't be wearing the suit anymore. It'd also be a great opportunity to shift to motion controls because you're not in the suit again. I think they might have actually called the game Walking Coffin. It would have been more marketable. It got way less attention than it deserves. It's a fantastic game. I feel privileged to have, as like the deep sea horror guy, it was a dream project to work on. As soon as I discovered it, I was like, I have to be part of this, and I bothered them until they agreed. They noticed the connection in the Venn diagram between up-and-coming horror authors and people with detailed engineering knowledge about underwater habitats. There was like one guy. There was me. Like I was the guy for their project, and I also got a free GTX 980 out of it because NVIDIA sent them a truckload of 980s to do VR testing, or Oculus did, or somebody. This was the CV1 days. To me, it's still it lives in the shadow of Soma. But Soma isn't really about the setting. Soma is about mind uploading and consciousness. It's the premier deep sea horror game that is about the deep sea. And it's kind of what I hoped Under the Waves would be. Under the Waves just turned out to be sad boy hours. With fucking depression fuel storyline, which Soma kind of was, but it was also too interesting to be depressing and scary for long. Can I get up there? Where am I going? The habitat looks very lived in, which it shouldn't really after being flooded. Everything should be in disarray. Everything is kind of where it was left. Whereas there should have been much more debris. But I guess that would have made it less interesting to explore. But it was a lot less barren than it was in the alpha, which was important. Because there's a lot of environmental storytelling that goes on. I wish I could bring that team back together. One more game. In the aftermath of the Ocean Gate Titan disaster would have been the perfect time to release it too. We're still doing underwater stuff. It doesn't get as much attention as the space program. But manned deep sea activity is still an area of major innovation. Unmanned too. I don't know if you saw the news article about the giant manta ray drone. Which is a brilliant concept. It's battery operated. And it generates electricity via the temperature differential between the above and below the thermocline, also between salinity differences. It's also rumored to be able to moor itself to the ocean floor and use its own propellers as electrical generators. How do I get up here? Oh! Oh, that was really close. I didn't like that. I've never heard of such a thing. I've always heard explicitly that those will never exist, Zulu. The manta ray is interesting because it's a glider. It uses the same principles as flying gliders, but in water. Namely, that it has two small propellers, but only to change direction. How it achieves forward motion is to purge its ballast tanks, to rise in the water column, and then flood them in order to be negatively buoyant, and then it glides on water at an incline. Oh no! So it can cover long distances using almost no power. Ah! No! Fuck, I just got set back like an hour. Wow. Why is that so difficult? This is where I got up high, so to speak. That seems incredibly unwise. Nuclear power should never be under automated control. Least of all nuclear weapons. The whole idea of the manta ray is to achieve constant surveillance of our oceans without using nuclear power. It's also cool as fuck and looks like something out of Sequest, which is the important part. I should just do a Hampshire episode about underwater developments sometime soon. I haven't done a video in a long time. I haven't had anything to make one about. Let me show you the manta ray. It's alarming. I think very highly of this glider idea, though. We should be engineering submersibles more like airplanes, because they're very... The physics of water and air are very similar. It's also enormous. Look at the boat back there. Look at how huge this fucking thing is. To me, this is a huge part of the future of undersea warfare, is just the reconnaissance drones that are always out there patrolling to detect enemy subs. Maybe even one day... We can't trust them to launch preemptive attacks. We can't trust them. Could start a war. Look at how fucking elegant, though. It doesn't even have to surface in order to recharge. This is one of the theories about how it recharges. I don't see why it wouldn't just use its own propellers. There are diesel-electric UUVs. They're like the Polaris UUV. Oh, it's an underwater power station just for drones. And it also has a buoy on the surface to relay information. So the drone itself can stay submerged all the time. That's next level shit. I mean, we're not even there in space yet. We don't have... We have a space station that stays in space all the time, but we don't have any craft. We don't have any starships. We have nuclear subs, though, that are mostly land independent. What's the Vario? It's a big money headset. That's a $2,000 headset there. Can't believe this shit actually got built. Gives me such a fucking boner. A boner. That was just Zulu. Send me the information about these supposed nuclear autonomous subs. There's an episode of Sequest about that. If it was nuclear, it wouldn't be several months. It would be years, decades. I can think of several ways to achieve that. Like the manta ray we just saw is going to be a multi-month platform, just because it uses almost no energy to move and can stop and harvest energy from the ocean. I know the Navy's been working on blue light solar panels. that are optimized for underwater use within the photic zone. They're still not great. You still get a fraction of the output, even under ideal conditions. Solar panels are just not the best for underwater. Let's try this again. This time, let's not fuck up. I could have just done that the whole time. I'd be very interested. That would be an unprecedented development. I have very mixed feelings about entrusting. As bullish as I am on AI in the long run, I want a human to be in the loop for the use of nuclear power or weapons. Not that we don't make mistakes too, but AI often does things that we didn't anticipate that it would do. And it needs to not do that in control of nuclear anything. Oh hey, this is where it was before, isn't it? This looks very familiar. That's made for an earlier version of me with less moves. This also looks familiar. I was gonna say if there were independent autonomous nuclear drones, I would know about it. I read this stuff religiously. We already had both fuel cell and diesel electric long range UUVs in the form of the Polaris. I think the Orca might have been one of the ones I read about an earlier version of. The Russians are crazy if they're making nuclear drones. I mean, what else is new? There's not too much advantage to be gained from that, except if you really don't want to have to mess with it for long periods and have it keep serving your interests. I feel apprehensive about that. I feel apprehensive. We have a lot of research going into unmanned upward falling payloads, which are what you described, except not nuclear. They're various kinds of packages that just sit on the ocean floor in a low energy state until they're needed, and then they're signaled hydroacoustically or otherwise to spring into action. That's crazy. It makes me look at the ocean differently, knowing what could be down there. Not just fishes, not just whales, not just dolphins or octopi. The ocean is full of robots now. Mostly because it's a terrible place to put people. Much as it pains me to admit that. What is that? Is that good for me? How is one meant to, There's no way. There's no way. Am I able to fly at some point? I had a dream that was painfully beautiful. where Sonic came out on the Saturn. I know that's such a fucking Spurg dream to have. It was Sonic 2D 3D, where it alternated levels between the new stages of Sonic Mania and small 3D stages based on Sonic World, the hub level from Sonic Jam. And the plot was that every time you beat one of the 2D stages, Robotnik steals your shoes, which makes you slow. Which is canonical, because there was a Game Gear game where Sonic moved slowly, because the shoes were missing. One for the feet people, I guess. Oh, hey, there's a switch there. Ah, shit, almost. You saw me, I almost did it. Not that it counts for anything. That's crazy. That's such an escalation. World War III is going to be insane. We're all going to die. We're gonna have purpose-built, militarized flying bomblets, which I've seen. I think something like Black Mirror did an episode about that. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I know I saw a scary video about tiny drones as basically smart munitions, like fired out of weapons that would then seek out their targets, like heat-seeking missiles, but with using facial recognition to assassinate specific people in the crowd. And we're gonna have underwater shit happening. It's gonna be a battle of the robots in space and underwater. Hooray! Thank you, technology, for giving us new ways to wage war, man's noblest pursuit. Did they now? Bitch titties, god fucking damn it. This doesn't just suck, this violently fillets monkey penis. Unwashed, circumcised monkey penis. What's through here? Have I been through here? You really want to be in the military, don't you, Zulu? Isn't it Air Force you wanted to join? I wish you Godspeed in your endeavors. I hope you don't see action. I hope we don't have World War III, but if we do, I guess you'll be doing what you wanted to. Fuck, this is so goddamn difficult. Ah, shit, almost. God, I want to cry. It seems like just yesterday that the Navy's got their first dry mini sub, the SEALs. What a miserable experience that must have been until now. like getting out of your bed at midnight, pulling on a wetsuit, getting out into the frigid, ice-cold ocean in darkness. God damn it. If I could just grab onto the edge of that fence. No! Why? Why? In what merciful, just universe could this happen? I saved my life anyway. But at what cost? I kind of lament all the unmanned underwater stuff because it takes people out of the ocean. It's probably only going to be robots in the ocean going forward because of how difficult it is to put humans there. And unnecessary in most cases now. I don't know what I wanted. I guess I wanted like hard-suited soldiers wearing exoskeletons like from Narcosis, but with shoulder-mounted torpedo launchers, trudging across the benthic abyssal plain to launch a torpedo strike on a subaquatic habitat, the submarine depot. Something like out of XCOM. Ah, I fucking made it! Oh, I want to cry. Oh shit, I'm trembling. I'm trembling. No! Why did I'm losing my mind. I'm sending my books out to more booktubers. Wish me luck. I really have a good feeling about this. I've come to realize that I'm getting old and I don't have much to show for my life yet. And I have great work. I have great talent. But I need to come out of my shell and stop being a hermit and promote myself to people who have a lot of eyeballs on them. I can't do it all. I can't do it all myself. I need to. I need to get the ears and eyes of influencers on my writing. If I'm not just a narcissistic bastard seeing the world through skewed eyes, being a part of a sort of writers club has clued me into the fact that in fact I do make pretty neat stuff, and it does compare very favorably to the competition. I don't know how to say that and not sound like an asshole. That's the only way to do a forward dash. What happened? That'd be cool. A game like Military Madness, but on the ocean floor. Or one which took place simultaneously in 3 settings: Antarctica, the moon's surface, and the ocean floor. As like a sequel. You can mostly just palette swap the assets. I can do this. This is within my wheelhouse. There we go. Shit. Fuck. How am I supposed to... 2 minutes. I'm supposed to do that in 2 minutes. Actually, no. 1 minute, like 1 to 1:10 or so. In what world? In what possible world is that a reasonable expectation? I guess I'm just trying to say I believe in myself. And the value of what I have to bring to the table. And I just need an opportunity. Maybe a breakout moment. I was trying to find something to say other than a swear, but it just turned into that swear anyway. Oh well. God damn it, why does every game have to be Sonic the fucking Hedgehog? How does one... It's 13 out of 13, but at what cost? My health and sanity. Supposedly, Tales 4 launches by the end of the year. I'm starting to think what story to submit for that one. It's the theme of sadomasochism. So I'm thinking the hole in the wall, maybe? Or the grinding? I'm a simple man with simple desires. I just want my work adapted to video games without having to learn how to make them. Learning how to make game levels was about the most my poor brain could manage. Yeah, bitches. Ooh, that's probably how you get to that hidden stuff earlier. Came through this way to begin with. I came through this way before. What's the game? Oh, hey, one of these. which went undiscovered by me until now. There's the key I'm supposed to get. I think you release cages individually by switching all the switches. I can see it more easily, which tells me I think one of the cages came down. I had a dream like this. This specific part, the stage, the curved stage where it's wooden on one side but then a painted mural on the other. I had a kind of a nightmare where I was in a dream and then I gradually realized everything was fake. I was inside like a movie set, kind of. Like the house, when I left the house, only the interior was furnished and painted, and the outside was like the back of a stagecraft, like just bare plywood with bits propping it up, and surrounding it, the scenery was all just a painted, illuminated mural, a circular wooden wall with astroturf grass, which I got the sense I wasn't supposed to see this. I was that all dreams are fake. And when we dream, we actually go somewhere, like another dimension. We're not supposed to realize this, so we're subjected to these fake experiences to make us think we're dreaming. What end, I can't say. That made it into Dimensionarium, though. The Dream Theaters. Seems like that's the kind of vision that was the inspiration for something like The Matrix also. Like there were overhead sprinklers for fake rain, a moving spotlight for sun, like daytime, nighttime cycles. It was a recurring dream, and there wasn't even a roof to the house, because I guess normally I don't look up. In those dreams, I don't look up, so I need a better weapon for this. I had a couple weird dreams like that, where I went off-roaded, if you know what I mean. Like I went off script, and I ventured outside of where you're supposed to go in the dream. And in doing so, I saw things you're not supposed to see. Like backstage of dreams. I don't have the charge attack now. I made it. What do I get for all that? What does it mean? What is my brain trying to tell me? Does it mean anything? It seems that way. Or like a dream in a cityscape. I went to work. Just work. It was like the generic sitcom workplace, but it was from the 1920s. It was in black and white, or 40s or something. Everyone dressed that way with like the fedoras. Don't at me. Black and white suits. It could have been any color. It's just everything was black and white. My own hands were black and white. And when I tried to look out the window, there were other buildings, but it was like a parallax sky texture. So where the buildings didn't reach the ground no matter how far down I looked, and there was no top to them no matter how far up I looked. It was like an infinite skybox, vertically. And I'd explore the place, and I was being watched by. There were these overhead rails, like a track system, like at a dry cleaner. But there, hanging from it was a gun, and a camera and microphone that would follow behind you, and anyone who showed they were aware of the thing behind them got killed immediately, and we all had to pretend we didn't see it. Like, it didn't, whatever it was, it didn't want you to be aware of it. It wanted you to carry on as if nothing was wrong. Anyone who complained about it or who even pointed it out got immediately shot. You could look at it in mirrors. I went in the bathroom. I could look at it in a mirror and it wouldn't shoot me. I guess whatever it wasn't a human and couldn't understand mirrors. Anyway, I found a way out through the ventilation system, but then I found out the rest of the building was hollow. It was a fake building. Only the floors with the simulated workplace were real. Were fleshed out. The rest of the interior was empty, except for like a superstructure. And when I was looking out the window, I saw another building's backlit windows, like lit from inside, like a jack-o'-lantern. I could see silhouettes moving behind drapes. But once I was inside the superstructure of the building I was in, I discovered the behind those windows were just TV monitors, showing a looping video of backlit curtains and silhouettes, where every window was, which implied all the other ones were fake, and I was in the only real part of the building. I hate every one of you. Not you, the enemies. I wonder what the eggs represent. Gee. Oh, did I kill them all? Did I? I think it looks like I got them. Aha, bitches. It warms my heart that there's such a focus on escaping the game boundaries. It's a very human impetus. I guess any living thing, if you put it in a container, first explores to the perimeter and then tries to climb up. It seems innate to living things to hate confinement. So it is that in games we try to gain mastery over a system designed to confine us by breaking the limits and finding what's out of bounds. Shit. Okay, so... Do I wall ride here? Do I wall ride and then I jump up? What do I do here? This Xbox controller is falling apart. But new ones are like $70 goddamn now. More tech they keep putting in controllers. The more costly they get. We have a lot in common then. Do you have a recurring dream? Like a central one that you keep coming back to? Mine is very much like what you described. It's the foundry. It's an abandoned industrial facility from the I think the 1800s. It's got a lot of old flywheel-based pumps and generators and things in it. That would... If I had like a camera on my hands playing with the butt cheeks controller from Deadpool, that might actually get me more viewers. I have one I keep going back to whenever I'm upset or depressed or when things aren't going right in my life, when something really bad has happened recently. Like when my cat died, I went back to the foundry. It's just my pit of depression and self-loathing. Ha, bitches. I believed in myself. See what it's possible? I've always wondered what's outside the foundry. I can't see outside of it because the windows are not real windows. They're like illuminators. Some kind of gross yellow light comes through them. They're dirty all the time, and I can't see out. It's like video game windows, kind of, when they don't want to render anything on the other side. Oh, now I'm getting to the hard part. That's not encouraging. Sorry for making so many sexual sounds. Ah, shit. God damn it. I wish I died. Do I have to jump back down? I really don't want to. If I can avoid it, I'd rather not. Bitch titties, god damn it. Thank you. I would have done it experimentally. Sorry if this is frustrating to watch. Here we go. What even does one do here? Ah, I jumped past it. Oh, momentum is so hard to manage in that one moment. No LMAO, this is not a certified gamer moment. Shit! I need to use backflip somehow. Oh, or kick into the corner. This is driving me cuckoo bananas. Calm down. Fuck! Why are you like this, game? Is she a gymnast? Why does she dream about this? Ah! I'm nutting. I'm fucking nutting. Ooh, baby. Oh, if I'd fallen there, I would have screamed a loud, mighty scream. What do I do from here? No! Ah, no! Where was that even? I'm a little bit perturbed. Yeah, do you guys have any better ideas than I do about who to put my work in front of? I sent it to Wendigoon and Meat Canyon on Creepcast, and also to a booktuber named Wira. Surely you should be able to one-shot the eggs. Is this like the Silent Hill? In that all the enemies represent something psychological for the developer? What would the maids be? Turfs? I have to get up there first. I was almost there, wasn't I? Oh, my heart hurts. I've been to the doctor about it. They say nothing's wrong. I've heard it's a symptom of dehydration. I drink plenty, though. Can't do straight at the wall jumps. I'm gonna have a heart attack on stream, aren't I? I'm losing acuity. Tragedy is I've got a bunch of itch.io horror games lined up. Cause this fucking game, I don't ever get to them. There we go. Yeah, bitches. I made it look so easy that time. Which it definitely is not. It's because I was fucking going about it wrong. Am I in the right place? There we go. Oh, it's so satisfying. Oh, it's so satisfying to finally get rid of that hand. Ooh, baby. Again, this game sounds inordinately sexual. If you don't know, it's just frustration. No! Ah! Fuck. Oh boy, I can try as many times as I want, lucky me. I did that so effortlessly the first time. Calm down. Ooh. Fuck. Many things in life are easier without a hand thumbing your booty hole. Nutting is not one of them. I could just do that the whole time. Oh, except that's not the best way to do it. Oh, there we go. It works. Ah, shit! I want to see an AI play this and put me to shame. That'll be the day when AI plays all the games for us and just does let's plays with commentary, and nobody plays games anymore. They just watch AI do it. Shh. If I could just control my air movement a little bit more. So anybody watch any horror tubers or book tubers? Either one? That I should submit to? That really feels like the way forward. Then again, a couple weeks ago, submitting to Asimov and Analog seemed like the way forward until I found about it first rights. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I have more faith in the control scheme. Here we go. What am I supposed to do up here? It's not that way. Was the whole point of this area just to take out the hand? Yes, that's true. And artificial intelligence would never be as dumb as me. It's my key innovation. Oh, bullshit. Oh, there was a thing to do. Take a... Timmer! Live out, Timmer! There's a thing to do side jumps into there. It's just so frustrating and set back to the start when you have to... It's such hard work to get up there. That can't be it. Oh, no. I'm starting to hate this game, slowly but steadily. Calm down. Calm down. There's no good way to do that. I can't quit now, though. Sunk cost fallacy in full effect. There should be like stream controls where you can let your viewers take over. That's a feature they should put into Twitch. Someone email them. I'm good at games. I am. I'm good at games. Anyone ever try to get their parents into gaming and then just kind of facepalm as they sat there with the controller sitting on one knee, using their thumb and forefinger of each hand to individually manipulate the thumbsticks and getting confused when they can move and look with different sticks? And being fundamentally unable to ever comprehend that concept of moving with one stick and looking with another stick at the same time. Like they can move and then stop and then look. But there's like a boomer gene. Oh fuck, that looks like there's a way to get there. It's gonna take me a lot more than half an hour. You gave me too much credit thinking it'll only take a half hour. Looks like there's a lip there, just specifically to prevent me from doing that. I'm gonna scream like a little girl if Wendigoon reads my story on Creepcast. I like his content for the subject matter, but the delivery is just him reading into a camera. I don't understand why he has millions of followers, but I wish him the best, and I hope he doesn't see this. Also, is anyone else expecting extreme political violence very soon? And it's giving them anxiety? Biden must be fucking shitting his diapers more than usual. I have no idea how I did that. Oh, there's a thing to prevent you from doing that. I don't accept it though. Yeah, like presidential assassination attempts, exactly like that. Which happened not because of a Democrat, but because of a Republican kid we don't understand the motives of yet. But because it's too useful politically, they're treating it as if a Democrat did it. But that's not the point here. The point is retaliation is imminent. This is the excuse that some people have been looking for, in some cases for decades. Will this work to keep gaining altitude? No, it won't. That is a hot take. You should probably delete that. Not that the NSA spends any time watching my channel. Can you imagine an NSA guy watching this and be like, "Ah, idiot, you jump off the thing. I fucking made it! It worked! Holy shit! I had a good idea that worked for once." Do not fall. I will scream. How does one get over there? I dare not risk it. Would you risk it for a biscuit? I'm so precious to be up here. I don't want to risk it. It's got to be just a long jump. Surely. No! No. That's basically infinite corner jump. That's so stupid that shouldn't work. That's almost bad design, but I'm kind of happy it does work. Oh. Oh. I feel like I'm aging a year a minute as I play this. I do feel a lot of anxiety over the fact that 2024 is basically handed to Trump. He could not have asked for better circumstances. Like, the ideal, exact, perfect circumstances happened for him to be elected president. Because who's the backup candidate now? Kamala? If they were smart, which they're not, the Democrats would swap in Yang. Yang is the man for the moment. And his pitch is simple. Elect me and you'll get basic income. Elect anybody else, i.e. Trump, and billionaires will cancel basic income and you'll all be subsistence farmers on a pollution-cursed earth being hunted by Amazon drones. Oh man, every part of me hurts. My brain hurts, my back hurts, my soul hurts. I gotta save the game now. Oh, I almost didn't save. It's like he fucking did a magic spell, or wished on a star, and the whole universe reconfigured itself just specifically for this one grotesque swamp mutant subhuman old man. The orange one. They're hard to tell apart sometimes. I do feel bad for Biden. He's just he is just Grandpa Simpson. He doesn't know where he is or what's going on. He's getting mocked by everybody. He shouldn't be where he is. He should be in a nursing home. It's a really cruel thing to do to a guy. Then again, I guess he should be the one to understand that this is what happens if he continues to run. That works like a wall kick. Right at the stage, huh? We're about to live through some... We're about to live through history. Let's put it that way. I've long anticipated this, and I wasn't ready for it to really happen. Ever since 2008, basically, with the Tea Party, I knew that was the precursor to some fucked up shit. This right or the other right? Like the right facing this way or the right facing this way? Already been here. Our easy, comfortable lives are going to come to an end shortly. I strongly feel. And here I am streaming like nothing's wrong instead of buying peanut butter. Short Talk clued me into that. Peanut butter is a great survival food. It's less miserable to eat than a lot of dehydrated foods, which do not turn into anything like on the cover. You get tired of peanut butter quickly, but it's never disgusting. Did I miss something important? It says I have one key, but I've never been able to find the door to use it on. Do I have it? Why is that even a button? Where does one get it? it's already salty. I do love peanut butter anything. I love peanut butter cookies. I don't love peanut butter cups. I must not be alone in that. I don't understand how they're popular. That's not peanut butter. Whatever the fuck that shit is, it's disgusting. The fake peanut butter in peanut butter cups is makes me cry. It's so bad. It's like this crumbly, gritty. It tastes like sand and glue, texture-wise. It's like gritty. It shouldn't be gritty. It's not real peanut butter. It also warms my heart that peanut butter is popular with chimpanzees too. It's a common reward they give them in primatology labs. Alright, I'll try it again. What the fuck am I doing? How is this working? How am I doing this? Someone explain this to me. That don't seem right. Where were my fingers going? I like how quickly she gets up from a seated position. It's like relaxing, and then... What? What's happening? What? What's up, Filthy? We were playing Goat Lady Mommy Milkers and giant fucking juicy thighs and butt cheeks. Clapping gently in the summer breeze. I wish there'd be a breeze around here. It's 95 degrees during the day. It's getting worse. It's scheduled to get worse over the weekend. I'm glad this is the first summer I've ever had a window AC in it. I'm not glad this is the first summer that my coolant vest has been broken. Is that what this is over here? No, I know what that is already. Okay, I'll take that. I do love doing things the hard way and making a lot of hard work for myself unnecessarily. Now I'm hungry for peanut butter and cheese. I watched a Wendigoon video on the government cheese tunnels and it made me want cheese quesadillas. I guess the PSYOP is working. You've heard about the government cheese tunnels, I take it? I assume everybody here knows about the government cheese tunnels. It's common knowledge. Ooh woo, what if we kissed in the government cheese tunnels? Looks like I can't go backwards. And how they fucking... They subsidize the advertisement of cheese and push fast food companies to include more cheese in their food products. Oh, Mega Man. A new Mega Man came out, huh? I have to do all that over again, it looks like. That's why Domino's Pizza got a bailout during the financial collapse. That's why we all eat so much cheese and why we crave it so much, because it's constantly being advertised. And I have no complaints. I love cheese. Cheese is just universally appreciated. Oh, okay. Well, that also works. That's the low skill way to do it. How do I get up there? I know where I'm trying to go. I just don't know how to get there. No, that goes down, not up. That's why we got stuffed crust pizza. Doesn't that break your heart? Something as beautiful and pure as stuffed crust pizza is because of the government wanting to sell us cheese because they can keep paying farmers to overproduce. Maybe I can do this here. That works. Wonder why that didn't occur to me sooner. I should be slower to accept limitations. I don't have the key for that, apparently. I don't know what I have the key for. I have the key for something. I should just start believing I can get anywhere. Am I wrong to want my writing to reach a larger audience so I can live a dignified life and be more broadly appreciated? Am I wrong to want a Netflix series directed by Mike Flanagan? Am I wrong to want video game adaptations? That's plural. It can't mean the other side. The other side isn't open yet. Look, you gotta go to war with the army you have, not the one you want. I have things figured out at my age that I should have had figured out 10 years ago, which is that the way that you get what you want in life is to identify what you're good at, do a lot of it, and then hook that up to a money printing machine somehow. Figure out where you can go that you'll get paid good money for what you like to do and what you're good at. It's funny. Originally, it was a lazy motive behind starting to write. It's because I wanted to just be entertained. I was ready to sink into a depression and live in a depression cave the rest of my life and just get horribly gross like the South Park kids in that one World of Warcraft episode, covered in crumbs and eating Hot Pockets and having my parents clean up my poo-poo from a bedpan. And I was like, all right, well, that's not the worst life. It lacks dignity, but I was never going to have dignity. But I couldn't do that because the writing kept getting worse and all the properties I enjoyed. How can I enjoy myself being a mindless consumer if I'm not mindless and if the content is? Like, did you see the fucking Halo TV show? Which finally got canceled, by the way. Thank God. Did you see The Acolyte? Did you see Rings of Power? Did you see all of Game of Thrones beyond where George R.R. Martin stopped writing? Don't poo-poo Netflix until you watch Mike Flanagan stuff. Mike Flanagan, I trust Mike. Well, you didn't miss much. That's a perfect example of you know those politics threads where they post that Wojak who's like, but how does any of that affect you personally? And it shows like Rome burning in the background. That's me with entertainment. Like, I could no longer be a passive consumer of entertainment while watching it get worse and worse and worse. I had to be an active participant and do something about it to make it better. I especially love horror, but horror has gotten so stale. Horror has the same problem of fantasy as being typecast, and it was certain certain well-worn tropes when it can be anything. Anything can be a fantasy. Sword and sorcery is not the only kind of fantasy. And not only fucking ghosts and zombies and serial killers are scary either. Lots of things are scary. That's not really a noble cause in life, just to want to be better entertained and be so frustrated by how bad entertainment is that you're like, well, if you can't have it done right unless you do it yourself. As someone who was raised on only the finest writing in the English canon since the 60s, basically, or I guess earlier than that, 50s. Surely, who better? I just want to liberate you bros from garbage. I want to make stuff that's interesting, that makes you think about yourself and your life and the human condition, and which challenges you, but not in a political way. Except with respect to religion, which I couldn't help myself. How would you feel, Filthy Weave, if you heard that Amazon was making a Wheel of Time series for TV? Or did they already? I'd be astonished if they didn't. Some of them turned out well. One Piece live action, in my opinion, turned out well. Fallout turned out well. I'm here to... I guess you can't really call it liberation of the mind if it's fiction. It's the further enslavement, but doing a better job. I just don't want there to just be garbage. Was it any good? They didn't make it shit, did they? Not Wheel of Time. No, not Wheel of Time. Come on. Come on, that's not real. You're fucking with me. No, oh my god, I feel my soul dying. That's what that feels like, huh? I have to look this up. Hang on. It can't be true. Seven 7.2 out of 10, 83% Rotten Tomatoes. Is it bad though? Rotten Tomatoes seems to think it's pretty good. It's getting a third season, supposedly. 4.5 out of 5 store rating. 3.3 stars. If it had diversity baked in anyway, I guess it won't be as noticeable. It seems like it's not bad, though. I'm not so political that bothers me. If it's really conspicuous, it breaks immersion somewhat, but I don't get angry about it. But that's actually one of the reasons why I leave a lot of my protagonists indeterminate. I don't describe them. Precisely so that if I'm negotiating with some Netflix suits and they're like, we want to race swap some characters, I'm like, have at it. I've got some. You can have the main character. It doesn't matter. I never had any identity in mind for him or her. Plus, I just write about humans only under protest. Humans are not the interesting part of the story to me. The events are. Wheel of Time had such a dope video game. Do you remember the fucking Unreal Engine based Wheel of Time? That astonished me as a teenager. To see a book series given that kind of treatment, and it was done well too. It was informed very heavily by Thief, but that's a good place to take from. What are greaves? Oh, bare legs. I can wear different things. It's superb. It's what you would hope it would be. It's still kind of... It's a little bit simplistic, 90s conventions, being that it was a early Unreal Engine game. But it's beautiful, and it really realizes a lot of stuff you'd hope to see in such an adaptation. It's a beautiful, beautiful game, and it plays well. And it adapts the books well, too. Then again, I also loved Clive Barker's Undying. There's so many Kino Fabino Unreal Engine games. Rune, Klingon Honor Guard. I should do a stream that's just Unreal One Engine games at some point. I can't believe that works. It's so dumb that that works. I'm not complaining, though. Undying did rule. And then fucking Layers of Fear came along, and it's like, hey, remember the painting tricks in Clive Barker's Undying? What if a whole game, but based on that one, like, gimmick spook? I can't fucking talk tonight. I did not like Layers of Fear, unfortunately, because very obviously it's a labor of love and a lot of effort went into it. Paintings are not that scary, not when used that way. Oh, this is that room. This is that room seen from the other side. Well, I'll be damned. That's how you get over there. That's a broken ability. Listen here, you goat lady. I'm glad you were laughing, because I was crying, weeb, that I paid money for that. I fucking returned it, though. It's just such beautiful chocolatey assets. The assets are so good in Layers of Fear. It's not badly crafted, it's just badly executed spoofs. It's just stupid. It's just not a good idea for a horror game. Understanding that is, of course, subjective. That's so fucking broken. Now that I know I can do that. Filthy Weeb, you're the kind of guy who would watch compilations of babies falling down to funny music on YouTube. And have someone walk in and be appalled at you. There should be a switch here to raise these gates, surely. What do I do here? Fuck, I want cheese. I need to go pick up some quesadillas. Or some quesadilla fixins tomorrow. I need to set up my quesadilla maker again. Yes, I own a dedicated quesadilla maker. What of it? I hope the world does return. You know what I compare it to, Weeb? There was a time in the 60s and 70s when psychic powers were taken seriously somewhat by people you wouldn't expect to, just because it was the first time that they're beginning to try to study them academically. And no results had come out yet, so it seemed like promising. So a lot of fiction took for granted that in the future psychic powers would be understood as a real phenomenon. Like Starship Troopers does that. Sequest DSV does that. Minority Report does that, although that's for a different reason. PKD's story predates all that shit. to my knowledge. Or maybe not, actually, given the time period. And now we look back on that and like, why is that in there? Like, we look back on the psychic squad or whatever they were in fucking Sequest, and we cringe because we're like, that's not real. That takes me out of the setting because we understand that to be fake and hokum. What am I missing? Besides bitches. Or even just a single loving bitch to tenderly cherish. We'd be looking deep into each other's eyes and I'd be like, oh, bitch. And she'd be like, you my bitch. Bitch. No, I've been through here. I don't understand. I don't understand. Also, you know what I realized recently? Arguing with anybody is perceived as automatically hostile. Even if you're just trying to present your reasoning and ask them for their take on it. You can be totally neutral. You basically have to fluff them. You have to jerk their cock a little bit first. Be like, we're good friends, I like you, I'm not attacking you. But here are some thoughts I had, and I'm interested in how they syncretize with the concepts you put forward. You have to like prime them to receive disagreement. That's so alien to me. I grew up in an environment with my friend group where you were subject to intellectual challenge at any time for any reason, and you were expected to not cry about it, but be immediately able to defend your propositions. And it's not interpreted as hostility, but something that basic defense ability that any good idea ought to be able to manage. Try it if you don't believe me. Although actually that's a poor idea. If you don't try it. I wonder how to circumvent that without making it obvious that that's what I'm doing. I don't want it to be obvious, because they'll be patronized if they think that you think that they need to be comforted before you disagree with them, even if it's absolutely true. There's a diplomatic way of phrasing that I just don't know. You can gain altitude if the walls are close enough together. Intrudastic. Not what I want to do though. What up, Buddy Hoof? How's the tiny man? How's the Babito Burrito? Is he talking yet? Is he rapping yet? Did he teach him to rap as his first words? Think of how magical that could be. You know what you could do is, one of us actually has a baby. You could teach him falsehoods as a joke. Teach him that giraffes are a mythological creature like dragons, and then take him to the zoo and blow his mind when he sees a real giraffe for the first time. I've always wanted to do that. That would make me a bad parent, wouldn't it? Doing fucking psyops on your own kids. It's got to be this door. It has to be, but it can't be because they can't get through the fucking green thing. It's it's like Kung Pao Enter the Fist. We trained him wrong as a joke. You could be so much cooler than that. Don't waste his time with the boogeyman. Teach him that the fucking pyramid head from Silent Hill will get him if he gets out of bed at night. We have better monsters in our mythos now. I like Freddy Krueger. Oh, I hate this room. I don't want to go back here. Teach him that wind is trees sneezing. And that the ATM has a little midget inside of it that counts your cash and puts it through the slot for you. My father did a lot of that just because it was funny. He's a very frustrating man. Although I guess the lesson was to not rely on other people to tell you what's true and be able to research it for yourself from credible sources. Because his answer to everything was, well, just do it for yourself. So he bought me very few toys. What I got instead of toys was like stuff for building my own toys. Like electronic parts and an erector set and Legos. I didn't get a Megazord until I was like 12. I had to try building my own first. I couldn't explain why, but certain extremely fun toys are tantalizing to the child brain in a way that the adult brain forgets. Like, when I was 8 years old, I was so desperate to combine 5 robot animals into a single giant robot man by snapping plastic pieces together to the same degree of intensity that like 15-year-old me wanted to touch a boobie. What's up, Ash? What's good in the hood? I'm still struggling with a Goat Lady game. No! You missed me fucking losing my shit to a single room. For what felt like an eternity. This game is proof that the perception of time is malleable. Udi Hugif, you've gone wrong, gone sexual. That's inappropriate for this Christian Minecraft server. Goddamn family show. Oh, that just takes me out through here. Oh, I want to cry. Is that really? That it really is where that goes. How do I do this? I also abundance. Have you ever thought of abundance? Abundance. It's just twerking. Oh! Is that how locks work? BRB fucking cutting my throat. Is that how locks work? I'm going insane. In an aspect of empathy. No. That's all that it gets me? Wait, could I have opened any of the doors I saw? There were doors until now that I could have opened, apparently. I just wasted a key, I think. I'm still recovering from the discovery that I have to hit locks to open them. Which means, can any key open any lock? Don't you laugh at me. I'm trying. I should probably take this back earlier in the game and get other abilities. Oh, that's... I bet you it's still open though. Now that I know that just gives me an empathy power up, do I really want it? Or should I go back to earlier stages in the... This game needs fast travel. I'm getting sick of this. You know, I'll go do it and then I'll save the game. No kidding. Yeah, she does have two big, giant, glistening Christmas hams, doesn't she? That's a selling point of the game. Oh. Oh, if that's true, I'm going to be a little bit upset. This game is eroding my sanity. I might regret using the key here, but surely they wouldn't give me a key and then let me use it wrong. I could do that the whole time. Well, the grass is always greener. Ultimately in life, you got to pick your direction and go in it. You can't go in every direction. I'm glad you got your Babington. I'm sure feminists would say it's deeply problematic that you're made happy by reproducing and taking care of your baby. They posthumously canceled Richard Heinlein for the same thing. I want to fucking eat my own face. I can't believe that was an option the whole time. I want a quesadilla, goddammit. How does one, there we go. Well, that's true of anything, any decision in life. Every time you take a certain path, all the other paths you might have taken vanished. That's true any direction you go in. It's existential as the mourning for the roads not taken. If I had stayed on Ritalin when I was 12, I probably could be an accountant or a scientist or an engineer by now. I wanted to be creative. I guess fuck making money. How do I do this? Not as a single mother. You're hardly the first person in history who married somebody for reasons other than love, and who found that marriage is more apropos as a partnership for pragmatic reasons than it is as a romantic union that lasts for a lifetime. I don't think human beings actually chemically feel love for longer than a couple years. After that, there has to be pragmatic reasons to stay together. Can I throw my sword at that switch? There's no way to get over there. There's no way over there. Oh, the other one opens too. Okay. This game is intensely frustrating at times. Ooh. Oh, baby. Soul cutter. So I can shoot. I know what to use that for. I feel empty too. I don't know that I'm supposed to. I make do with it. It is what it is. Life is not what anybody thinks it should be. And we kind of have a distorted perspective of what life's supposed to be, living in the era that we live in. If you know, if that makes any sense. Like, people in prior generations have had far worse conditions and had to make far tougher decisions, and been able to enjoy aspects of life anyhow. I just look at it like this. somewhere in the woods right now is an antelope, or I guess not this part of the country. It's like a buck. And the buck is living his best life, and he's not fulfilled in the way that humans want to be fulfilled. He doesn't get many of the luxuries we take for granted. He finds meaning in life. He eats, he fucks, he sleeps, he shits. He has it worse than any human. Except, I guess, for humans in, like, war zones and shit. And he finds reason to keep trying. If you feel big regretto, think about where you were when I met you. You were in a sorry state. You were in a bad spot. You're out of that spot now, and you have a baby, and you have work. That's meaningful material improvement and spiritual improvement to your life. It's not ideal, but it's a lot better than where you were before. You've made a lot of objective forward movement. Isn't that true? Uh-oh. No! My life isn't what I thought it would be either, but nobody's is. You gotta let go of your plan for life so it can unveil its plan for you. For your life. Your life has to go in its own direction. I'm not saying it as elegantly as I could. Is there anything no woman is ever happy with any man? Unless he's like the catch of the century. If that sounds misogynistic, I guess it is a little bit. I'm sorry. The impression I got with even my own exes is that they always thought they could do better, and they always thought they were doing me a favor. Oops. I remember once my first girlfriend asked me where I'd rate her on a scale 1 to 10. I said 8, and she cried for days and didn't talk to me. Which confused me, because I thought she had... I was like, does she not have a realistic mindset where... Does her happiness hinge upon believing she's the most attractive person in any room? Has any woman ever been happy with any male partner? Or have they always been thinking I could have done better? I need to replay Terra Enigma. That makes me so paranoid. Because I'm well past twink death, so anybody I'd be interested would not be marrying me for my looks. Are you? That can't be right. That's absurd. Even if I were to succeed as an author, I can't shake the feeling that anybody who married me would still be thinking I could probably have done better. I don't. You're wrong. I was way better in my 20s than that's true of anybody. I guess it's relative. Go from here. This is a cruel thing to make us do. Oh, it crushed me. I think it's relative. It depends on who you ask. Shit. God damn it. Momentum. Why? Why? In what universe is this considered moral? There we go. I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you think so, but I mean... Oh, that's soul-crushing. You know what's even worse than that, Nettis, is when you date somebody who straight up tells you that you need to make more money to date them. Straight up is an exaggeration. She couched it in more diplomatic language. She said something like, she commented on my clothes and then on my, at the time, lack of a vehicle. She described what she did for a living and what she drove, and then she said, I think we're at different stages of life that are incompatible with each other. That was the first of 2 times. The second time was my most recent ex, who told me that she wanted, as a major goal of her life, to be pampered and to live a luxurious lifestyle, and so she needed a man who could make that happen. So she was happy for the years we spent together, and I don't begrudge her that. She was very honest and upfront about that. But that I was not a long-term viable, like, life partner. Which is... made me just feel awesome, let me tell you. Oh, okay, I'll believe in you. I'll believe. I don't look like a potato, anyway. Where do I go from here? Where do I, Oh, that's what I do. Oh, this game is fucking sadistic. I found you need all of them. I think, again, this is going to sound misogynistic, and I'm sorry in advance, but this is just my perception. That we have, as men, a different barometer, a different measurement system for personal success than women. It's like, we get swole, and we still think we look bad. A woman goes to the gym 4 times and thinks that she deserves the world. That her body is a temple and that she's the new Aphrodite. What to us are mundane accomplishments are to someone with less self-discipline and much higher self-regard and much feebler self-esteem, much more significant accomplishments which they feel they deserve a great deal more in compensation for. You have a Babington, that's what you wanted. And that's a very normal and time-honored thing to want. I mean, that's much of human history, that's what women wanted. Until it became uncool, I guess. Well, that didn't go my way. It's much in the same way as they're more easily frightened and also more easily grossed out. They also have a different estimate of their own exertion and what the reward for that exertion should be. Non-coincidentally, the sort of people who believe that everything should be free. I could have just done that the whole time. Fuck. This is not every woman, obviously, but it does seem to correlate pretty neatly with the experiences I've had so far. I can just do that? I can just do that. There's a denial of the biological clock these days, along with many other things about biology. Oh, hallelujah! You know what's the funniest shit in the world is if I say anything that is mildly off-roading, off-script for a Democrat, the immediate assumption is that I'm a right-wing evangelical Christian. And if I comment, for example, on how it's schizophrenic to believe in some of this gender ideology stuff, and they're like, well, it's no crazier than believing in a talking snake. And I'm like, oh, actually I'm an atheist. And their fucking eyes bug out like Bugs Bunny. And smoke comes out of their ears. As it's like when your GPS has to recalculate a route. Recalculating. They do not know what to do. I'm surprised that the right hasn't picked up on that. And you'd think they'd just start lying about being atheists, because it throws those kinds of people so off balance. They do not know what to do if they don't have that symmetry of, well, it's okay for us to believe crazy stuff because that it's politically motivated, because so do our enemies. Well, what if they don't? What do you do then? They also will say that you're exaggerating if you say that they will throw you under the bus for disagreeing on one thing. I agree with like 90% of the modern Democratic Party platform. I disagree with them about gender, and that's it. And they're like, well, of course you can't disagree about that. But if it was about gay marriage, they would be, well, of course you can't disagree about that. But if it's about immigration, they'd be like, oh, of course you can't disagree about that. In every case, they decide that my cancellation was justified, that I'm in fact one of the bad guys. So I'm kind of over it, which has come to mind recently because of all the discussion in the news about Chaya Raychik. I can't pronounce her name. The chick behind Libs to TikTok, who has been going on a doxing spree of people who celebrated the attempt on Trump's life. And these people were doxing right-wing people before on old Twitter, and saying things like, well, make your own Twitter, or this is just accountability. Not when it's them, apparently. When it's them, it's totally different. It's been too delicious to watch. But I also can't watch because I'm fucking banned from the platform. What do I do here? I told this shit to them at the time too, that it was going to turn around and the shoe would be under their foot, but they don't listen. It's good to be king, I guess. You know, you never think it'll happen to you. When it does, and it's like shocked Pikachu FaceTime. But we're the good guys. Of course, we're supposed to have irresistible weapons of institutional power. Of course, the bad guys aren't supposed to be able to use them against us. They're the bad guys because their opinions are different from ours. Their opinions are mean, and truth can't be mean. Truth and beauty are synonymous, therefore truth must be kind, and kindness must be truth. Do you care what you're called? I didn't ever give a damn at what they called me. Growing up autistic, I'm quite used to being bullied. I have a much thicker skin, I think, than most people. What I care about is being blocked out of a platform that I use for, among other things, community with other autistic people, which had a great therapeutic value, which I now can no longer access. Where am I? I need to get to the underbelly. That should break both of her legs. I mostly just lie back at them. They don't know what to do. I've spent many years devising tactics to counteract things like Kafka trapping. And because they've never encountered anyone who knew how to counter those techniques, they're often flabbergasted. Like, if somebody lies about you, and they do this so in order to put you on the defensive, so that the debate time is taken up with you defending yourself against the aspersions they cast, instead of you being able to voice the rebuttals to their arguments. But if they lie about you, and you're just like, well, I'm not going to sit here and be lectured by somebody who was convicted for making a viral video of blending a cat. Like, I did what now? And like, well, you can lie about me, I can lie about you. If you want me to be honest, then lead by example. I can do whatever you can do. And they're just, you can see it in their eyes, just panic and recalculation. Like, oh fuck, he knows. Then it comes, well, it was a reasonable assumption because you held these other views. And I'm like, no, not unless you're a pig-nosed, presumptuous... fucking... I don't even know the word I want. Pig-nosed and presumptuous more or less cover it. There's always a way to turn it back on them. For example, don't erase my lived experiences, which is how they defend making blanket statements about their outgroups. If you talk about your negative experiences with protected groups like POC or religions that they are currently protective of, they'll say, well, you can't generalize, and like, don't erase my lived experiences. And then they fucking shocked Pikachu face, because again, they thought that only they knew about that. Only they can use that. Or another favorite one is, this comes up more often in sincere misunderstandings, where I'll say something strangely or have a weird reaction, and I'll explain it. I'm saying, oh, I'm autistic. They'll always reflexively say, that's not an excuse, even when it doesn't make sense, because I haven't done anything wrong. At that point, I know that I have them, because they have presumed that I was attempting to use autism as an excuse, when I can point out that it doesn't make sense because I have done nothing wrong and therefore I'm not needed an excuse, and I can point to the thing I invoked autism as an explanation of, and then that's when they realize, oh shit, I fucked up, and they want to change the subject, or they want to, or they'll just say like goodbye or good evening. It's not good enough just to ignore them or to laugh at them. You got to know what the countering move is. Every move has a counter move. For example, if they generalize about men because they have had a pattern of bad experiences with men in their lives, you can point out that that's exactly the same. That's exactly the same reasoning underlying racism. Like, well, no, it's not the same because look at this data. I'm like, that shows that men actually are more violent statistically on average. I'm like, yeah, from the same site that says the same thing about groups that you are against generalizing on that basis, and it's fucking airtight, and it drives them crazy. And that's the key to it, is just knowing the counters. It's like in fighting games. Every strat you can think of has if it's well balanced, has a counter strat. Let me read some other ones I came up with. You all know about the riddle with respect to Christianity, which is old hat. I'm sure no one cares to hear that one. I call them showstoppers. Oh, here's one. The same people simultaneously assert that transgenderism is not a new phenomenon but has existed throughout history, and yet they also say that without HRT and affirming surgery that transgender people will commit suicide. Logically, this means that every transgendered person in history who lived before the availability of surgery and hormones committed suicide. But then if they would have done that before they were old enough that we would have ever found out that they were transgender in the first place. So evidently some part of that is a lie. Either they have not existed historically, or it's not a given that they will commit suicide without surgeries and hormones. There's also the list of parallels between social justice and Christianity, and an inherited ancestral sin that you must atone for by converting to the group and shunning outsiders and claiming the right to arbitrate morality and absolve wrongdoing. It's more extensive than that, but I don't have it. There's also a lot of people who are very focused on financial privilege, but are also very attractive and have not realized that they have beauty privilege. I do not consider that a form of privilege, and have not thought through the implications of their policies towards privileged people as applied to themselves. And they can't say that it's not equivalent to economic privilege and also be sex positive and supporting sex work, because sex work establishes beauty as a commodity, as a form of capital, thus subject to redistribution under their own policies. There's also the matter if one can change genders because it's a social construct, and race is also a social construct, and logically one ought to be able to change race, which they've dealt with this before. They don't really have a good answer for it except for screeching in anger. Just, you can't do that because blah 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 blah, colonialism, history, blah blah. Logically, if one, then the other, but they don't want that because there needs to not be any way out of being white, which is the villain in their worldview. So there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of things I've thought of where it's good to be able to recite from memory the antidote to a lot of these. It completely fucking unravels them. Were y'all taking notes? This is not going to be the video that gets me booted off Twitch, is it? If we did a lot of message coordination, we could have shut this nonsense down much sooner. If we all knew the right thing to say when they said something, because a lot of their ideology is just getting out ahead of these kinds of objections and teaching apologetics to ideologues. Like Kafka trapping, just teaching conversational impropriety and tricks that you can use to fluster and run circles around people even though you're in the wrong. To the underbelly. That's where I need to go. God damn it, I want quesadillas. That was uncouth. Doing a wall kick in such a narrow space, that felt weird. There's a little bit of jank in this game, not a lot. There is some. Yeah, it's astonishing how quickly the full ideological capture happened. It's alarming. Then, again, Christians laid the groundwork with the 7 mountains of influence. I don't know if you've ever read that. They did the same thing first. It's not disgusting. You're wrong. That is all that it takes. Although, actually, the microwave part is sus. If you're going to roll it up, that's fine, because then it doesn't matter that it's limp. But if it's going to be flat, then you want to toast it. But shredded mozzarella is fine. You don't need to get any fancier than that for a quesadilla. Its beauty is in its simplicity. It's a humble food. It's like the Mexican equivalent of a sandwich. I like a grilled cheese sandwich from our Mexibros. That is something I'm afraid of. That Trump is gonna is gonna deport all the illegals. I understand there's economic reasons for and against, but I know a lot of those people. They live locally. We have a lot of immigrants, legal and otherwise, in my neck of the woods, and I like a lot of them. And they're working hard, and they're being industrious. They're not being criminals. They're opening restaurants and food trucks and things. And we should welcome that kind of activity. And let them stay and have them pay into services. I have nothing against Mexican people, and I don't understand why conservatives do. They ought not to, because Mexican people are largely Catholics. Very family-oriented Catholics with socially conservative views. So it can only be the race issue that is why they dislike them. Which is really disappointing and ugly. I forgot I could do that. Oh, this is the one I never solved. This is the one I never solved. Well, they did kind of. The issue is that we can't have a negative replacement rate. And at the same time, grow our economy without immigration. Without lots and lots of immigration. And it can't all happen legally because of the blockades put in the system to prevent that. If you say, I don't care about the economy, I don't care that it's going to crash and we're going to have a recession if we deport them all, then that's fine. There are consequences for that, though. There's humanitarian consequences and there's economic consequences. It is true, if somewhat cynical... Oh, now I know how to do this. To say that the only reason it's being pushed so hard is because of the economic dimension. that basically corporations need the economy to grow forever, and we're not having enough babies to make that happen. That makes it kind of kind of cynical for them to play the humanitarian card in pushing for more immigration, as if that's the reason, when really they just want the numbers to keep going up. But it's not all opportunism. A lot of these people have families, and if you were in the same situation they were, I agree. I think that this became an issue in the first place because we had such onerous, burdensome requirements for would-be immigrants, and that ideally those would change so that people could legally immigrate without multiple decade wait times. I do think it has gotten out of hand, but I'm not against it in principle in the way that a lot of these Stormfront and Pole jokers are. They forget about the Latina bitches too. You want your trad wife? That's your trad wife. That's what a trad wife looks like now. Well, that explains what I'm supposed to do. I was wondering how I was supposed to do that. The answer is that it was a power I didn't have yet. That's all 5, isn't it? That's all 5. We can beat the game now. We have 30 minutes left to finish this game. Oh, it does too. I had a Latina sweetheart in middle school. Although I was too much of a coward ever to confess my feelings to her. It was very clear in retrospect that she was interested. She spent a lot of time around me, and I gave her a... I don't know what I was embarrassed by. Why was I scared of pussy in middle school? I was scared to confess my feelings to anybody, even if it was very obvious that they reciprocated. I missed out on... I didn't miss out on young love because I had a girlfriend in high school also. I missed out on even earlier love. Just because I was a coward. I regret most of all my cowardice. I should have been braver. You're not doing so bad. You're living indoors. You have a child. You have a family. There are many people in the world suffering greatly who would change lives with you in an instant. Odie Hogif. I just need to make it back up to the castle. It's evolutionary programming. They're the normal ones. It's everybody else who's anti-natalist that, from a historical standpoint, is the abnormal group. Girls are cute. Dangerously cute. Where am I? How do I get to where I need to go? Isn't that life? Where am I? How do I get to where I need to go? We're just dropped in the middle of this big, colorful, loud thing that we don't know anything about. We have to slowly piece together as our brains grow. Yeah, one baby is enormously expensive, as is. Should probably get some kind of government help. As she should, but it stops working if everybody does that. We're about to see the ending of the game, I think, or the final boss. Well, I think I've already beaten both bosses this game has to offer. You know what I really want is a spiritual indie remake of Ridge Racer Type 4. A soulful, story-driven racing game. I really love R4. Yeah, replacement rate, maybe a little extra, is fine and where it should be. Not having enough children is where we got... I think the issue with having children is it's an inherently irrational choice. It never makes sense financially, no matter how well off you are. So you kind of have to put yourself into that situation, and then after you're in this situation, you'll figure things out because you have to. It's like colonizing Mars. There's no business case for doing it. The business case is all post hoc. It's all, there will be an economy for services that people living on Mars will need after we force there to be people living on Mars. You kind of have to take the plunge and have the big Mars baby, and then after that you figure out, how am I going to support this Mars baby? With due respect, Udihug, if you didn't have a lot of good choices, I think you did fine for where you are. How do I, how did I get up there to begin with? Oh, yeah. Alright. Never mind. Here we go. Is this the wrong direction to come at it from? It might have been. He's not abusive, is he? Well, that's, I think, also evolutionary programming. I think having two X chromosomes makes you always think you want to do better, because that's what your job is from an evolutionary standpoint, is to get the partner with the best genes possible to procreate with. And you got to be realistic about what you bring to the table when you make those kinds of hypotheticals in your head. I don't know how to say that without sounding cruel. It's not my intention. You can't always get what you want, though. That should not have worked. That should not have worked. That worked anyway. There's this great meme online, which is a screenshot of a Tinder conversation, where this one girl goes, "You need to drive to me because I'm disabled and unemployed." And he says, "That's no problem. I drive a truck." And she says, "I drive a truck for a living." And she says, "Ew, you drive a truck?" And he's like, "Bitch, you just said you're disabled and unemployed." Which tells me that no matter, like, the question of where she is at in life and what she expects from a man are two completely different things to her. And any suggestion that she be more realistic is itself seen as hateful. No, but now in her mind, she's a pretty princess and deserves the world. Who do we blame for that? Do we blame media? TV, maybe? For giving us all these fantasies about things that can't be fulfilled, that are super normal stimuli? That showed us all these impossible possibilities? Is it... I guess so. Maybe it's just me getting older and getting bitter. Getting dumped a bunch of times, despite never cheating and never doing anything untoward. Ah, fuck yeah, there we go. I still feel like I have reasonable standards. I just want my equivalent. And people are like, well, how do you measure that objectively? I'm like BMI, and then if I'm speaking to a woman, she's like, oh, well, that's not as objective as you think it is, because it's not fair to be reductive and to boil things down to numbers, because apparently it's not a reasonable expectation to want someone of your fitness level. How did I get like this? How did people in general get so ruthless? We didn't used to be ruthless. Actually, that's a lie. We did used to be. Was it always this bad? Here we go. The door opens and reveals you're gay. Stairway to Heaven should be playing. My standards are just that I need to be able to kiss her with my eyes open. After that, it's how I feel about her. Is she funny? Does she make me happy? Funny is a big one. Oh fuck, is this the other boss? Who is this? Bitch titties. Oh, BRB. Why does she have Spirit Bomb? Why is she Goku? Can I lead it into her? Can I see her health meter anywhere? This game needed more bosses. Sorry, I'm quiet. She's quite tough. Oh, I can knock her projectiles back into her. Not really the kind of person you want to hang out with, right? I barely remember what she was really like at this point. Oh, sorry. You're probably wondering who I am. Honestly, I don't really know anymore. Nobody special, I guess. Then that's the whole reason you're here, right? I get it. I can't just hide here forever and pretend I don't exist. I'm sure I'll find something worth being awake for. Maybe I'll finally get into photography. That'd be nice, I think. So thanks, Goat Bunny Cat Lady. Sybil? Got it. I'll make sure to write it down as soon as I wake up. I don't want to forget you too. I'm sure you've got someone else to help out, right? So yeah, thanks. Take care, Sybil. Perfect. It's just about quitting time. Hot damn, what a game. The only complaint I have is it needs more bosses. 2 bosses is not enough. It needed way more bosses than it had. Also kind of a lackluster ending cinematic. Well, that's it for this evening. Thank you all for joining me. What are we going to play after that? That game was such a vibe. It's going to be very memorable for me. I get the feeling in retrospect this is going to be the game I regret is over, and I can only experience it fresh once. I'll always wonder about what was behind the locked doors that didn't open. At least now I can finish watching the Oni plays of it. Short Talk, if you got someone set up to raid, this is the time to do it. Let her rip. Also, everybody go out and buy Unreal Tales of the Unreal Volume 3 on Amazon. I don't see a dime, but it's got one of my stories in it. And I still eventually want to hear some ideas about booktubers and horror tubers I can submit to if anyone knows any good ones. Fair enough. It's $9. $9 is not much for a paperback pulp anthology. I went way fucking harder with the story than I had to, though. I don't know if I'm irritating people. There's some talented authors, though, mostly the poets. There's this one poet who's also a big fish in a small pond, and I really admire his prose. It feels strange to have such a varying degree of talent and also styles within the same anthology. Is very jarring. Chills? Who's Chills? Do I just Google Chills Horror YouTube? I could have just submitted Time Traveler's Muse. That would have been fine. It would have been a funny and flippant little story. Would have fit in way better. If I'd known the tone of what everyone else was going to submit, I could have fit in better. It's like having Andy Weir's The Egg in the same anthology right up against Chuck Paholnik's guts. It's not that either one is bad, it's just they don't go together. I wonder where Short Talk got off to. Oh, he's not setting up a raid. Well, there's not going to be a raid tonight. Surprise. Thank you all for joining me. Get at me again on... Ooh, it's the end of the week already. Monday, same ham time, same ham channel at 7 o'clock p.m. West Coast time, 11 o'clock p.m. This is your friendly neighborhood ham dad. Signing off, returning you to your regular scheduled sleepy time. Get Udi Hook if that's why you buy a baby treadmill or build one. And you dangle keys in front of his face and make him run on it until he's exhausted.